Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in HO scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 42 of season 2022. Looks like if I keep going at this rate, I will have a total of 50 episodes for the year 2022. So expect that to be the case. Thank you so much, though, for joining me for this update. And what we're going to be covering today is infrastructure projects. As you know, I completed the main line not too long ago. And I'm going to be transitioning to scenery here before too long. But before I get to that point where we're starting to work on scenery, I have a lot of infrastructure work that still needs to be done, and then also a little bit more track laying. So this past week, I spent some time working on the infrastructure, ironing out different issues that have arisen, and adding some very important infrastructure items so that everything runs smoothly. Now, here is one major issue that I have been having. That is a transition from the helix over to the staging yard. I was having some problems with the cars bunching up here because you're going from 2% incline to a flat surface. And the cars with the DPU, the cars were bunching up here and coming uncoupled. And I had some of the light cars, the light tank cars, actually uncoupling. Well, in looking at this problem here, I found out that I actually had some issues with elevation. So it went from 2% decline to the point where right here at this bridge it transitioned into a 1% incline. So that's a change of 3%, and then here it was level. So instead of it going from 2% to 0%, it went from 2% to 1% incline and then to 0. So we just had some unevenness, and that making that transition was causing some severe bunching and stress on the cars being pushed. So one thing I did is I adjusted the height here. You can see where the old screw holes are. I unscrewed this support here, and I basically raised this up almost a half an inch. And that kind of alleviated the incline. But it did cause a little bit of bowing here on the previous support. So there you have one support there that I'm kind of pushing right above. The one to the right of that is the one I pushed up about a half an inch. This support, though, was glued because I didn't have any way to screw it because of the way it's laid out. So I decided the only thing I can do to let go of that is to use my Sawzall to cut that support so that we could even things out. Alright, so I cut this right here because it was glued. No other way to do that. And this is what it looked like after I cut it. As you can see, that's not all kerf that's missing. It basically went up quite a bit after I cut it. And it still has a ways to go. You can see it's still bowing a bit. A lot of space between there. Okay, so I was going to need to push that up also. So the support just to the right of this one went up about a half inch, and this one's going to go up about a quarter of an inch. And I, of course, used some Elmer glue and a piece of 1x4 that I had laying around. And I clamped it on and pushed it up so that it was nice and level. Now there still is a little bit of a gap because the ties on this double crossover are smaller than the ties for the concrete ties. And I was able to put a little bit of support under there to alleviate that. And now we have it going from 2% in the concrete ties to where the crossover is a 1% decline, and then where their bridge is 0%. So instead of going from 2% down to 1% up to level, it goes from 2% down to 1% down, and then finally to it being level. So a much better smooth transition from going down the helix to level track on the staging yard. And this is where I was having most of the issues, either uncoupling because of the pushing, severely pushing, and then having to pull out and so forth. But then also some of the small light tank cars were derailing here because of the pressure. Here you see the light tank cars coming up. I put them at the end of the train with the DPU pushing right on it, and they smoothly now go through all these. So definitely fixed a major issue there. I was thinking it was a problem. I was thinking it was a problem with the crossover, but not the case. It was my initial engineering. All right, another infrastructure thing I did was replace this. This is a MS100 that will connect the local net of the Digitrax local net to a computer. Now this is like over 20 years old. I got this around 2000, and it uses a serial port. Initially a 25-pin serial port, and no computers have those anymore. And then finally, and then it went to a 9-pin. I had a transition piece there, and still not even any of those. But I did have that little adapter that I could plug into the motherboard. But anyway, I got rid of that thing and replaced it with this. This is a Railroad Circuits local buffer. And the local net operates at a baud of 16,000. Here's my computer, by the way, mounted underneath the layout. It's just not too old, but it's about maybe 10 years old. But anyway, the local net operates at 16,000 baud or whatever, and the computers closest to that is 16,557, and that's what the MS100 used, and it had a lot of errors. So the local net changed, or excuse me, the local buffer does a much better job of just changing it to 57,000 or whatever. So anyway, I have it all connected here. The local buffer is 100% foolproof. The MS100 had a lot of errors. But you can see here now how I have everything set up on my computer. I have a little big, huge 65-inch screen here that I use for the Decoder Pro. And you can see the web page there that can show up on my screen of my handheld throttle. And then, of course, the dispatcher's panel that's on the other computer. I actually have two computers connected to the layout. One does the dispatcher's panel and is in the helix. The other one is right there that you just saw. Now, one thing I also did is I added some of these UP5. This is a new UP5. I had the UP5s installed up to Emory, and I made a point of installing the rest of them here. We'll be using a lot of wireless throttles, but we still will have need for some plug-in throttles. I have a number of those, so I want to make sure that we could use those. And so I installed these additional UP5 throttles. I also installed them so that this track status light goes up, and then I also made sure that I had all these powered. If you don't power them, then they draw power from the command station, which can cause trouble. It basically is an additional draw on the amps of your whole system. This is an 8-amp system, but I'm doing HO now, so I was concerned about that. So all the UP5s are powered. Now, one thing I'm going to do this coming week is I'm going to add a booster. As you may have remembered from before, I have the layout divided into 3 power districts. So here you have the power center of the layout, and you have the green there is the ground, and then you have orange or I should say red and gray for rail A and rail B. Okay, so this wire here, this red one here, and then this gray one here, Those are going to be the red and yellow wires going to this power management board right there, which does the helix, staging yard, and Morgan. The other ones go over there to another power station that does that half of the layout. And the third one that runs over to that corner of the basement and does the Evanston yard and the upper level around Evanston. So when I do this, I'm going to have the additional booster run the power manager over on the other half of the layout. So basically, two of the power management sections will be still run by the 8 amps, but we'll have an additional 5 amps for the third one. This shows a wiring of the UP5 panels. So the white wires are the track status wires. The wires that are all bunched together and connected to the brown wire, that's for the power, for powering the board. Something else that's going to be coming up this week, I'm going to finish that area there, have some shelves I'm going to put there underneath that, and move the programming track over here, put some battery chargers over here. I'm going to have some shelves for storage of different things, and then I'm also going to put the Mississippi River Bridge up there on the that little section from the Geneva sub. And so the only areas I'll have 2 main areas for storage. That cabinet right there will have some storage that I can get to easily, and then we'll have 3 sets of shelves under the little section there from the Union Pacific, from the Geneva sub, I should say. This last week, I also installed some more signals, the last signals. These are the signals that control traffic into the helix from the upper level. Those are a couple of Atlas signals, and then I also have some signals here controlling traffic going into the helix from the east staging yard. So that will be all the signals. I'll have everything, all signals. These aren't lit up because I ran out of ribbon cable. One more thing, I am also going to be adding resistor wheel sets. I bought some conductive paint and some surface mount resistors. This is a 300 piece pack. So I have enough to do 300 wheel sets. So I'm going to start getting some of the wheel sets set to be able to be detected. And that will be something that's going to be very important for my first operating session, which is coming up in the first part of December. I have some people who are going to be coming over, and they're going to be here to run some trains. So I kind of want to get things going infrastructure-wise so that when we have everybody over on the 3rd of December, that we can have a successful operating session and hopefully things will run well. We're just going to be doing run-through trains, mostly just to kind of get an idea how the flow of trains is going to work. This is a coal train coming up the Wasatch grade with a ethanol tank car train heading down the Wasatch grade. One other thing, once I get things going smoothly for the op session in December, then from there, then I'm going to be doing some more track lane. I have the Evanston yard to put down. That's going to take a bit of time, and then Westvaco also needs to be done. So once I have all that done, then I'm going to start doing scenery. So I am going to eventually make the transition to scenery, but it's not going to be right away. I'm going to make sure I get all these infrastructure things done. I have some more track to lay. I want to get things all set up for operations and so forth. So I'm thinking probably won't be till the first of the year in 2023. So 2022 has been about getting the main line all done, getting the base layout completely completed and operational and running smoothly with no derailments. We're getting closer and closer I'm really getting to the point now where I can run trains for a long, long time without anything happening. In fact, I have been letting the trains run while I go upstairs, use the restroom, or go up, get a snack. I'll just let the trains run while I'm upstairs, come back down 10 minutes later, and things are still running smoothly. So I'm definitely gaining some confidence in the layout and the way things are going. So that's where things stand right now. I did a happy birthday live stream back on Thursday, and about 10 minutes into it, my grandchildren called me to wish me happy birthday. So I had to decide, should I keep the live stream going or should I stop it and talk to my grandchildren? And I decided in favor of my family. So I abruptly stopped it about 12 minutes into the live stream and took the calls from my grandkids. So if you were watching and wondering why it ended kind of suddenly, that's why. And what you're seeing right now, the happy birthday celebration, was to watch a train go completely from west to east. And I got as far as the Wasatch Grade and stopped it. So this is the continuation of that trip. So it was about 10 minutes into it. You'll be able to see the rest of the trip. We're already towards the Evanston yard right now. But that's kind of where things stand right now. That's what I've been doing. I kind of get an idea of what I'm going to be doing. And for the rest of this update, I'm just going to let you take some time to watch the rest of this trip. I think we have one more train to meet here yet. And you can watch it continue all the way to the helix and then finally back to the staging yard. Here we have a green light, it looks like. While you're watching, make sure you take some time to subscribe if you haven't yet. And like this video, leave a comment and so forth. Had so many birthday wishes. Thank you so much for that. For everybody who was kind enough to do so. But if you want to comment on this video, that's also appreciated. I try to respond to all of them. I'm not going to get to respond to all the happy birthday wishes. There was just so many. But if you comment on these videos, I'll respond. If you want to become a member, make sure you do that also. And just, as I said, enjoy the rest of this trip. And I want to wish everyone a great week coming up. Have fun running trains. Take care, everybody.